Hey, you guys, it's Michelle, and today is day 6 of Spiritual Bliss. Now, I did skip yesterday. Um, I was having some computer issues, and I finally got my computer back, which I'm super excited because it was in the shop. And I had to spend a good portion of time just resetting everything back up again. So, anyways, good day. I'm so excited. So today, awesome morning. It's going to be an awesome day, and I'm super excited. So today we're going to talk about being the best you. Now, what's interesting is when I say be the best you, I mean that in a lot of different ways, but really specifically, what I mean is to be the best you in a relationship. So what happens is that a lot of times in relationships, we have a tendency of being the very best us in the very beginning. But then and later on in the relationship, we're not necessarily the best us. And so what happens is that we start putting a lot of blame and on the other person because based on the fact that we've changed, the other person has changed as well. So when you're looking at your relationship and you're like your whatever it is, a friendship or a romantic relationship, what ends up happening is that you you kind of like reflect on it and you start having expectations. Now think about this for a second. In the very beginning of a relationship, when you're all in love and you're all like, can't stop daydreaming about the person, what ends up happening is that your expectations are not very high. You're just wanting to see that person and spend time with them. And ladies, honestly, I want you to really think about this. How often did you actually say that you like something that you didn't like, or you're willing to do something that you really didn't enjoy? So, for instance, maybe a sporting event, or going and hanging out with his buds, or going to have a beer. And it was like you were just so excited to be with a guy that you really just didn't care, right? So you were your very best you. And how often did you actually like put on all your makeup, make sure your hair was absolutely like perfect, and you were like total glammed out, right? And you were like thinking about, no, I just totally messed up my hair. Anyways, so like when you were actually, like making sure you look the very best, like when I get on camera, a large percentage of the time I make sure all my hair and my makeup looks really good. And so it's kind of like that. It's like you try to be your very best you. And you're nice, you're considerate, you're thoughtful. So guys, what about you? Like, how often did you like call her and text her and little smiley faces and emojis and say I'm thinking about you, wanting to cuddle, taking her out to dinner, doing all these nice things? You always wore your very best shirt, you put on your cologne, your hair was always clean cut, everything was really good, right? You were your very best you. But then all of a sudden, later in the relationship, what ends up happening? You're not your best you. Okay? You are not your best you. Come on, ladies. How often are you walking around with, I mean, I know I do. Okay. I'm really having a hair day today. It's like, I know I'm guilty of it. I walk around without any makeup. My hair is in a bun. I'm wearing sweats and a t-shirt or a tank top or something like that. And I mean, and I sit there and I think about, like when Shane and I first started dating, I was wearing those fishnet stockings and I had like black makeup and I was all like, yeah, you know. And so it was it was really funny. And it's like I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, when has the last time I put on some fishnet stockings, some stilettos for him, So be the best you. Now, you may not be that girl that puts on fishnet stockings, and you may not be the guy that totally makes his beard like totally perfect and everything. But who is the best you? Think about that. What is the very best you? When you project yourself in the beginning of a relationship, you're always putting on the very best you. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I get so many people coming to me about relationship problems. And a lot of times I get women mostly that come to me and say, well, we're not having sex anymore. and it's a, you know, we don't have any intimacy. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna look and see. Hi, Michelle. Okay, it says hi, Michelle. Sorry, Denise. I'm reading off. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. So, anyways, so I get a lot of women who come to me and they're like, you know, I have lack of intimacy in my relationship, and I'm just not happy because I don't think we're in love anymore. Well, being in love is something, it's a chemical thing that happens in the very beginning of a relationship. When you get into deeper levels of a relationship, you have what you call like true love, like when you really care about this person, like they mean a lot to you. They've gone through all the trials, they've gone through everything with you, and you know you can trust them completely, right? But what ends up happening a lot of times in relationship is that intimacy gets lost. And I know you're probably like, how's this spiritual bliss? Well, here it is. Okay, you guys, how can you be spiritual if you're unhappy in your relationships? Bottom line, you have to be the very best you. And you know, people think that spirituality is separate from all their everyday life, from their business life, from their friendships, from their relationship, but that's not true. Being spiritual is being connected and fully embraced with your true you and being at peace. So, how do you get to being at peace? Well, spiritual bliss is peace. So you have to have all your ducks in a row, man. You have to have all the pieces of the pie put together. You have to have your relationships intact. So when you are actually thinking about your relationships, let's go back to that for a second, okay? Because this is really important. Because I have more people coming to me, more women, you guys that are on here. I mean, like guys, like men. I want you to listen to this, okay? Because I have more women coming on here. I mean, not coming on here, but coming to me in my office that tell me that they have lost the connection with their husband, meaning you guys aren't having sex anymore, okay? And I've had more men, ladies, who've told me that the reason they got a divorce is because they stopped having sex. Now, who's to blame here? Well, so what I suggest you do is you think about who you were. Start looking at self instead of pointing back at the other person. Stop saying he stopped wanting to have sex with me or she stopped, you know, wanting to have sex with me. What you want to do is you want to think about what you did in the very beginning of the relationship and think and take personal responsibility for the part that you changed. And granted, you guys, I know you have babies, you work a hard job, you work in 3 or 4 jobs, he works nights, you work days, life becomes conflicted, he's working out of town, he travels a lot. Um, you know, all these things happen. You have a baby. The baby takes up all your time. I have to put my glasses on so I can read some of these comments. We have to be happy and love ourselves in not in a conceited way. Absolutely. Exactly. Loving yourself is really important. But being the best you, okay? And you know, I know people that don't necessarily really love themselves, like love themselves, but when they get into a relationship in the very beginning, they're always their best you. And so that's why I'm saying is project your best you in your relationships, especially if you're in a partnership. Now, I'm using the word partnership because whether you're bi, you're gay, you're homosexual, you're transgender, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm saying partnership. A lot of times today, a lot of people just live together, so it's a partnership. So whether you're married, you have a partnership, whatever you want to label it, it doesn't really matter. Hey, Michelle, how are you? So, Michelle, we're talking about being the very best you in relationships. And the reason that I say that is because a lot of times it's very difficult to be really spiritual, to be really connected, and to be really at peace when your relationship's kind of fucked up. I mean, seriously, and that seems to be a hindrance to actually moving forward and like really being, you know, connected, because you always have this little nagging thing, and it's just like this is start driving you crazy. So really reflect, take personal responsibility with who you are. in this relationship and think about who you were. So Michelle is, she just logged on, and she's a lifelong friend that I've had for a very, very long time. And so I know she's married, and I can tell you personally, um, that when I look at my relationship and all the things that I did when Shane and I were first together, like all the extras that I did, how I made sure my makeup was perfect and my hair was absolutely perfect and everything was perfect, and I was so willing to do whatever. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Yeah, sure, let's do that. Yeah. And now it's kind of like I don't like that show. Like I was willing to watch like the stupid shows like the fighting and action and all this other stuff just so I could sit there and cuddle on the sofa with him, you know? And now I'm like, can we watch some sci-fi or can we watch a comedy? Gotham is on. Let's watch that, you know? And and so it's and he's one to watch like these shows where they're fixing up trucks and stuff, you know? And in the very beginning, I was like, yeah. Tell me about that. Teach me that. I want to know more about that. How does that work? And I would ask a lot of questions about that stuff because I was being the best me, right? So I was actually reflecting on this the other day, and I was thinking, what can I do right now in this section of our relationship to be the very best me in this relationship? And Shane and I actually have a really good relationship. We have a lot of acceptance in the relationship. So even if I am walking around with my hair and a bun and no makeup and stuff, he's totally accepting about me. He's accepting about how much I work, how much energy I put in. I work all the time. I'm like a workaholic. From the second I wake up, I have my coffee, I do my workout, I I have some meditation time, and then I'm working on videos or I'm editing my book or whatever, and then I'm off to work, and then I come home and it's, again, I have more work to do on the computer. So so am I being my best me? Well, when I sat down and talked to him about that, I was like, I'm concerned. I'm not giving you the attention that you want. And he's like, Michelle, that's okay. You're working on these things, and that in the end is going to pay off for us. And I was like, so yesterday I came home and I just got in my computer, and I was super excited because my computer's been on the blitz, and I was like, I've been out of pocket for a while, like, and so I've so much has been put on hold because of this computer issue. So it came in. Oh, sorry, Denise. Um, so it came in and I was super excited, and he was like, God, I wonder what I'm gonna eat. And so I'm sitting here thinking a little guilt hit me, and I was like, here I am. I'm like, so concerned and self-absorbed here about my computer. And I sat there and I thought, and I just kind of turned to him and said, you want me to make you something, sweetheart? And and he's like, well, what are you gonna make? And I said, I don't know. What do you want? And I go, I have this and this defrosted, and I can do this. And he goes, oh, yeah, make this and make that. And so I got up and I started cooking him dinner. And and so that was the best me because I put his feelings into consideration. And and the best him was saying, I can make my own food. And so, it's like you got to try to like think of the other person's feelings. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to be your very best you. And I started thinking about when the last time I wore a dress, because I have a tendency of wearing like leggings and flip-flops and long shirts and stuff like that, and workout clothes, hair in a bun. I have my own business, and so when I go to the office, I can wear whatever I want. I can walk around barefooted if I want. I don't have to wear makeup. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do because this is mine. I just do whatever I want. And so I have gotten kind of lazy. and so and that's kind of projected on there. And so I was like, Michelle needs to get up every morning, put her makeup on, do her hair, get looking good, and put on a dress, look kind of pretty, and, go that direction so that when he sees me, I look good, you know? And I'm decided, to really do this, it's like, I don't want to sit here and tell you guys something that I'm not willing to put forth myself. And so a lot of times when I come up with these spiritual practices and these extra things that I tell you, it's because these are moments that I've kind of come up within myself. Then I've said, Michelle, be the best you. And so I wake up every day and I say, who is the best Michelle today? So not only am I trying to be the very best Michelle in my relationship, but I'm trying to be the very best Michelle in my day-to-day life. So what is the very best Michelle? So let's talk about that, not relationships, but just being the best you in general. What is the very best you? Now, the very best you can be different than anybody else, it can be completely different from anybody else. So it can be like the very best me is getting shit done. I mean, it's like I'm on fire. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I've already, had my coffee. I had my protein shake. I took my vitamins. I go for a run. I get my workout stuff on. I go do a little boxing, or I go to the gym and I lift weights. The very best me gets everything done, and then I do some work on the computer and I head to work. Okay. That to me, it's like when I get stuff done, when I wake up and I'm not just sitting around watching Netflix, not to say that I don't enjoy those days, but, the thing is that the very best me is when I'm doing all the things that I need to do, when I'm juicing, or when I'm eating a lot more vegetables, when I'm doing things like that, but who's the best you? Okay. Your best you may be completely different. Okay. You may be into biking or something, or you may be into like beading or crafting or something like that. Like my mom, she's into crafting. Okay. And she's got this craft room. And there was a point where, she had a couple of things going wrong with her, she was ill. She's had some surgeries and stuff like that. And she wasn't able to get into her craft room. And so the very best her would be to be able to get up and get in her craft room, start making things, do things. Also, she's extremely social and she loves to be around people and do things with people. So the very best her would be out socializing, doing things. You see what I'm saying? So each person is different. And so being the very best you is to put your best foot forward, to wake up today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today, and say, what am I going to do today? What can I do? What's going to make me feel good? So one of the things that I like to do, and this is like my personal thing that I enjoy, and is to take an hour in the mornings to myself. Now, if I want to be the best me for me, okay, me, I need that hour. Now, I've talked to women who have children and they tell me that they, like having an hour to myself is almost impossible. Well, my suggestion is make sure that you get your kids to bed on time. You go to bed on time and you get up early. Get up early before your children get up and try that. So what I would suggest, and this is for me, like I said, is I get up, I have an hour to myself. In that hour, I will be drinking my coffee because I love my coffee. And I will be checking my emails, or I will be, journaling, or I will be, doing something that makes me feel good. Maybe I'll read a book. Sometimes I do that. Like I'll sit there and go through on my phone and just read something. But I do something that makes me feel good. It's meditation time. And it's time for me to just have some time for Michelle. Okay? So I usually take about the first 30 minutes for time for Michelle. And then maybe the next 30 minutes I'll do things like check my email or Facebook or something like that. Now, I do suggest that you do kind of stay away from social media the first hour, but for me it's a little harder because when I'm not checking social media, I start getting text messages from people I know. So they're like, you need to check this, you need to check your email, you need to do this, you need to do that. I sent this, I sent you a customer, I sent you this, da, da, da. So I start getting like people saying, and I'm like, so I do have to have that first 30 minutes for myself. For me to be my best me, I have to have that first 30 minutes. And then the second 30 minutes is going ahead and checking everything, emails and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And then the next thing that I do is I go and make a protein shake. I go put my hair up in a bun. I go get my gym clothes on, and I do whatever it is that I'm going to work out for the day. So if I'm going to walk, if I'm going to run, if I'm going to go to the gym, um, what is it that I'm going to do that day? So I will put that step forward. When I come back, I do my meal prepping and I get everything, I clean the house, I do everything that I need to do that's going to make me feel good. Now that's the best me to feel accomplished. I want to walk out the door and my house be in place. Okay? I want to know that the bed's made, that the pillows are all on the sofa, that there's nothing on the floor, that all the dog toys have been picked up, that the dishes are done. So for me to be my very best me, that's what I need to do. Okay? Now everybody's different. Who is your best you? So if you are just coming on, go ahead and watch the replay because I was talking about being your best you in relationships, or you can just kind of wait and watch it later. It doesn't really matter. But the bottom line here, you guys, is for you to really get into that spiritual bliss, for you to really feel connected, for you to really feel at peace. You got to have everything in your life in order, and and also give yourself time to yourself. Like you've got to have forgiveness for yourself. You've got to be able to um and when I say life in order, I don't now understand, don't put expectations on yourself. What I'm saying is that you have to be your best you. Your best you could be sitting on a porch drinking iced tea, looking at the sunset on a lake and being completely at peace, going for a walk with your dogs. Whatever it is, you know what your best you is. And you need to be your best you in your relationships with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends, with your lover, and with yourself. So reflect for a second. When you're looking at your relationships, look at your responsibility in your relationships. Are you being your best you? And stop worrying about whether or not that person's being their best you. Maybe they're not being their best you themselves because you're not being your best. Okay? And if you remove the guilt and you remove the blame and you remove the expectations and you just start loving yourself, loving others, be your best you, just wake up, smile, be happy, do whatever it is you want to do that's going to make you happy. What is going to make you happy? What's your best you? And be that person. Be your best you. And whatever that may be, and however that may look, and whatever relationships you have, if you just wake up in the morning and you just make it the decision, I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm not saying, oh, well, my best me was 50 pounds smaller. Okay, don't go there. What I want you to do is I want you to wake up and I want you to say, if I was my best me today, the best me that I can be today, what would that be? And if that is, you know what, I'm going to have a salad today, or I'm going to cook up some vegetable soup, or I'm going to grill some steak, or I'm going to have a glass of wine. What is your best you? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to call people that I love. I'm going to get out there and start socializing. I'm going to do my hair and my makeup, So who is the best you? And when you figure that out, and that's the best you for today, not for tomorrow or a month from now or what you visualize Eventually, if you start working on what you can do today, being the best you today, you will eventually, a month from now, actually recreate yourself if that's what you want. You'll find that a month from now, you'll be completely transformed because you'll get used to always being your best you. So be your best you today. Always forgive. Always accept. Allow people to be themselves. And exercise forgiveness. Anyway, this is Michelle. Have a fabulous day, you guys. Awesome. I'm so excited. I'm going to have an awesome day today. I'm super pumped because I got my computer back. So I'm not limited to how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it, where I'm going to do it, and all this stuff. So I'm going to have a good day, and I'm going to be my best me. So how about you? This is Michelle. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.